The deepest fear that arises out of the sense of separateness, the sense of being yourself, being somebody. That root fear, you're very vulnerable under those conditions because there are huge forces all around you. Forces of love, of hate, of violence, of economic, everything, all of it around you. So that to the extent you're identified with your separateness, it is inevitable that there will be fear. And it'll be fear of this and that, and fear of this, fear that something, fear of hurt, fear of this, fear of that. My suggestion is that instead of responding to each fear specifically, you work on the other part of you, which is the feeling of your connectedness to all things. And let the fear manifest as it manifests. And then you cultivate an ability to just notice it without judging it. The minute you judge it as a failure on your part, or something wrong, it is a natural part of your separateness. It's built in. We all have that. Some of us are obsessed by it because our minds focus around it and create around it. But the answer to me is not to try to push away the fear, but to cultivate the other part of yourself that is connected to all things. Because that part of it has no fear. Because there's nothing that can happen to it. It can't go anywhere. It's just changing its form all the time. I mean, as you die, your cells change, the energy changes, you turn into something else. You're all still part of the same thing you were part of. It's just the form change. And when you recognize that, there's something in you that balances that fear and makes it different. Because when you sit and look at a fear, you say, well, I can be afraid of physical something, or I can be afraid of social, psychological things. And I guess I've had life experiences, and I think most people have, where something you feared came to pass, and you realized that what came to pass was much less debilitating than the fear of it in the first place. And you kind of keep profiting by that in some way, so that you see that even as you're frightened, it's really just a trip your head is laying on you. I mean, this is really what meditative practice is about, is learning how to extricate yourself from the web of thought forms that are creating your own suffering. Because the fear is a set of thought forms, is really what it is. It's a way of defining the non-definable in a way that creates an arising of a certain emotion in you. And as you keep learning how to extricate awareness from identifying with thought, you begin to see them arise, exist, pass away. There's a fear, it comes and goes. I think it's very important that one acknowledge one's fear, that one allow it to give it space. I think the acting out is not necessary. It's like anger. I don't think you have to go beat somebody up or beat a pillow or anything, but you have to acknowledge the fact that you're angry. And there are ways of allowing your humanity fully, which includes the fear, because part of it is witnessing, noticing it, allowing it, giving it space, letting it be your humanity and letting it come and go.